Have you ever wondered how something that starts as a simple feeling can quietly turn into something that changes everything? At first, it feels harmless, almost invisible, like a thought you didn't ask for. But somewhere along the way, a line gets crossed, and most people don't even notice the exact moment it happens. Desire is something every human experiences, yet betrayal carries a weight that can break trust in relationships. This difference matters because many people confuse the two, and that confusion leads to guilt, secrecy, and pain. Understanding where desire ends and betrayal begins can change how you see your own feelings and other people's actions. In everyday life, desire shows up without permission. You might feel attracted to someone at work, notice a spark with a stranger, or feel emotionally drawn to someone who listens in a way your partner doesn't. These feelings don't mean you're a bad person. They mean you're human. Betrayal, on the other hand, is not a feeling. It's a decision that happens after desire shows up. It's what you choose to do with that feeling that defines whether trust stays intact or starts to break. Many people believe betrayal begins with physical actions, but psychology tells a different story. Betrayal often starts emotionally, long before anything physical happens. It begins when someone starts hiding conversations, minimizing their partner's presence, or sharing emotional intimacy that belongs inside the relationship. Think about how often people say nothing happened, while something very real already did. They didn't touch, but they leaned in emotionally. They didn't meet up, but they fantasized, compared, and invested attention where it didn't belong. Desire is passive at first. It happens to you, like a reaction. Betrayal is active. It requires choice, repetition, and usually secrecy. A helpful way to understand this is to think about boundaries. Desire knocks on the door, but betrayal is opening it and inviting someone inside. The moment you start choosing secrecy over honesty, the shift begins. One reason people struggle with this difference is because desire feels exciting and validating. It reminds people they're attractive, interesting, or still alive. Betrayal often grows when someone uses desire to fill an emotional gap instead of addressing it. For example, someone who feels unseen at home may start enjoying the attention of a coworker. At first, it feels harmless and even helpful. Over time, that emotional energy replaces real communication in the relationship, and that's where betrayal quietly takes root. Another key difference is responsibility. Desire doesn't require blame because you didn't choose it. Betrayal always involves responsibility because it involves action. This is why people feel guilt after betrayal, but rarely feel guilt for desire alone. Many people justify betrayal by telling themselves stories. They say they deserve happiness, that their partner wouldn't understand, or that it doesn't hurt anyone if it stays hidden. These stories help reduce guilt, but don't change the emotional damage being done. Psychologically, betrayal often thrives on distance. The more someone separates desire from consequences, the easier it becomes to cross lines. When the partner becomes an abstract idea instead of a real person with feelings, betrayal feels less real. Here's something surprising. Research on relationships shows that people who betray are often deeply afraid of confrontation, not careless. Instead of expressing unmet needs directly, they seek relief quietly through someone else. Desire can actually be a signal. It often points to something missing, like connection, excitement, or emotional safety. Betrayal happens when that signal is ignored and acted out instead of understood. This is where things get emotional. Many people who betray still love their partner. The betrayal doesn't always mean love is gone. It often means emotional needs are unmet and unspoken. The biggest difference between desire and betrayal is honesty. Desire exists in the open when people acknowledge it without acting on it. Betrayal lives in secrecy, where actions are hidden and truth is avoided. Here's the aha moment most people miss. Betrayal isn't about attraction to someone else. It's about the moment you stop protecting the trust you already have. That shift is internal before it's external. When people say betrayal just happened, they're often ignoring a series of small choices. Each message, each secret, each comparison adds up. Betrayal is rarely a single moment. It's a slow drift. Understanding this difference isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. When people learn to notice desire early, they can choose boundaries instead of damage. Healthy relationships don't require the absence of desire. They require the presence of honesty, communication, and responsibility. Desire handled openly can strengthen trust instead of breaking it. If you've ever felt confused by your own feelings or hurt by someone else's actions, this distinction matters. It helps separate what's human from what's harmful. It also creates space for accountability without shame. The takeaway is simple but powerful. Desire is a feeling you experience. Betrayal is a choice you make. If this video helped you see relationships a little more clearly, take a moment to like it and subscribe for more psychology-based insights. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so here's my question for you. Where do you think the line between desire and betrayal should be drawn?